first sort of long run on this sort of half marathon prep. So the plan for today is a 2 kilometer warm up and then 11 Ks, just nice and easy. So longest run since the marathon so far has been 10K. So got to gradually kind of build that back up to get me ready for this next half marathon. So nice and easy today, week 1, 13 kilometers in the bank, sort of aiming for around that sort of 5:30, 5:20 mark per kilometer. Sort of lucked out with the weather today, so a little bit overcast, not as hot, and there's a bit of a breeze. So kind of perfect for the long run, and it's still warm, it's like 28, but the breeze helps. Oh, let's get going. Right, so just over 13K complete. I did that annoying thing of needed to stop for the toilet and I hit lap instead of pause, so I had to restart again. I think I did that about halfway, so I don't know the exact distances or the exact paces. I'll put them on the screen. But one of the things that I'm not sure I mentioned a couple of days ago when I was talking about how I utilize heart rate, but on these long runs I use 2 main parameters to kind of keep me in check and get the most out of the session, because the goal of this is to build efficiency. Like, the whole reason that we train the cardiovascular system in many different ways is because we want to be efficient at different speeds, different intensities and different environments, and efficiency requires that we stay within a certain amount of parameters. So on the first sort of half of this 13K, I was utilizing pace as my main sort of guidance, because I have a tendency to want to go out too quick, and my heart rate stays quite kind of low for the first half. So I'm sort of in the early, like late teens, 118, 119, early 120s, and then as fatigue sets in, as I get to about 8-9K, my heart rate starts to climb. So I actually start to use heart rate as a parameter. So I won't let my heart rate go above 132 beats a minute. So what this teaches us is, can we become more efficient by focusing on our pace? How much do we have to slow down? How much do we have to control our breathing in order to bring that heart rate down? You know, so this teaches us how to control our body, you know, and if you go too far, then you have to stop, and you have to come to a complete halt, let your heart rate drop and then go again. But the goal here is about learning to control the volume with intricacy. You know, so if I'm running at a 5:31 pace and my heart rate goes to 133, can I dial that down to a 5:40, focus on controlling my breathing and bring my heart rate down into like 128, 127? And what you realize is actually we do have control. It's only when we get out of sync that the heart rate starts to climb and we start to panic, and then we're burning the wrong energy sources and we're not necessarily getting the training effect we want. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into these long runs and how I utilize both pace and heart rate to kind of get the most out of every session. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want to make sure that for all the effort that we're putting into training, that we're getting the desired effect. And that desired effect shouldn't be just making ourselves tired. So I'm gonna go home and shower. Well, on the news, do you reckon it's gonna rain? It has been a pretty miserable day here in Koh Samui this Sunday, chucking it down with rain pretty much most of the day. And the thing about Thailand, when it's chucking it down with rain, you're basically trapped in your house, because I don't know if you've ever ridden a moped in Thailand while it's raining, but I've never given birth. But if it's much worse than that, then I empathise with you women out there. It is absolutely official. I have registered and I'm signed on to do the Da Nang half marathon in Vietnam on the 24th of March. We are officially, even though I was classing this as week 1 anyway, we are officially in half marathon prep. So what I'm gonna do with my videos every Sunday now is going to be a bit of a recap of the training week and how things have gone and how things are potentially going to move forward. So I kind of did this on the build up to my marathon prep, and I actually quite enjoyed the process. Obviously the daily videos are still going to document my day-to-day sort of training and life and stuff like that, but Sunday's video I'm going to just sort of dedicate to sort of a bit of a recap. So yeah, as many of you sort of may or may not know, obviously there's some new viewers kind of joining in the videos as we kind of go, but my training split is Monday is upper body. I might do a swim in the morning as well, but a super low-key swim. Obviously Sunday's my long run, so Sunday's the day I do my long run, so Monday being more of a recovery day, take the load off the legs, train upper body in the gym, and do some light cardio. The goal of Monday is to get me ready for Tuesday, because that's when I'm going to be doing my thresholds. So I found these to be the most beneficial tool for my fitness in the marathon prep. I'd mainly done a lot of aerobic base building, hadn't really done any thresholds before that 11-week marathon prep, and it literally skyrocketed my fitness. I'm hoping just to carry that through. Wednesdays I train in the gym lower body. Again, if I'm feeling good, I might do a light swim in the morning and a good stretch again. And then Thursday is easy run, gonna sort of cap that at about 60 to 75 minutes. Again, it's just getting some miles under feet. Friday is full body in the gym and work capacity. Saturday is technically a rest day, even though I might swim or go and do some vanity stuff in the gym, but that's all done on feel. And then Sunday is my long run. So that's my current setup of how I'm training. So week 1, the gym all went perfectly fine. Again, not much changes in terms of my weight training, because everything is kind of ruled from a bird's eye view. So I'm always monitoring volume and how my body's feeling. So if I wake up on Wednesday morning and my legs are stiff from the thresholds, I'm just going to take it super easy and get myself ready for the runs on Thursday. So when I'm in, whether it's marathon prep, half marathon prep, ultra prep, the gym supports my running. So running comes first. So if I'm feeling stiff and I'm feeling tight and I'm feeling tired, then I back off in the gym. Worst case scenario would be is I'd skip a gym session, but if I'm having to skip a gym session, I've gone very wrong in my volume, or I've picked up a niggle or something like that. So that's something decision I'll have to make in the moment, depending on how I'm feeling. So that's kind of the kind of weekly setup and how my thought process is going into this. The main sessions of the week are going to be Tuesday's thresholds, and then Sunday's long run, getting comfortable running quicker in the thresholds, and then getting that confidence of running the duration. So that's kind of the sort of plan moving forward. Again, every week there is an opportunity to kind of bend things a little bit, flex things a little bit, so that we can get the most out of them. Again, I always plan for plan A, but I've also got plan B, plan C, plan D. You know, you want to be able to roll with the punches, because here's the thing about plans that no one tells you, is nothing ever goes to plan. There's always a load management sort of bending and flexing that you need to be able to do. Nothing is set in stone. So week 1, coming off on what, I'm 3 weeks now off since doing the marathon? It's not 4, is it? 3 weeks since doing the marathon. Today, Sunday, was the longest run I've done since then. I hit 13K. Everything felt pretty good. So I'm just easing back into it. So week 1 was very much kind of a dip your toe in before we jump in. So my threshold work on Tuesday was 12 by 400s. So I finished up the marathon prep performing 5 by 2 kilometers. So 12 by 400s at a very similar pace was kind of an intro back in, just getting the rhythm and the pace of moving at that speed and trying to sync the heart rate and everything like that as we progress through. Plan is for next week, so this Tuesday coming up, to be 5 by 1 kilometers with about 200-meter rest in between. Thursday long runs is just going to be at an easy pace, so around about that sort of 5:20 to 5:30 pace, and just going for about an hour to 75 minutes. And again, that's just getting some easy miles under the feet. And then Sunday long run, so the plan is to progress this up obviously to 7 weeks today, the half marathon is. So 13 kilometers at an average today. I did it at a 5:21 pace. Like I sort of say, felt pretty decent, felt pretty good. So the plan is to build that up. So next week the plan is similar pacing, just going to do an extra 3 kilometers, 16 kilometers in the bank. One of the things that I think is important, and for anyone that's signing up to any event, doesn't make any difference, is the art to making this less stressful is to not have too many expectations. It's very easy when we go into a like prepping for a marathon, and you know, everything sort of orientate towards getting you set up and the sessions that you need to do, so it adds an element of structure to your week and your training. So it's very easy to kind of get lost in the weeds and get so infatuated with what you want to be able to do on that day in 7 weeks time or 6 weeks time, or however long the distance is. And the reality is that you can't control all the variables, right? There are certain things that I need to take into consideration. I'm traveling to the thing, which is a whole day of travel. I'm going to try and go a few days before and whatnot, but it's a new place, new environment, new food, all these types of things. Again, it's going to be a 4 a.m. start time for this half marathon. So again, I don't know, like, am I going to be able to get breakfast before? Because that was a big problem on the marathon. It was a 3 a.m. start time. I didn't eat for about 9 hours before the event because I was staying in rural Thailand. Nothing was open, and I didn't really sort of project for that. So that's something I'm going to be taking into consideration this time around. I maybe bring some food to the hotel room or wherever I stay. I haven't booked any of that stuff yet. But that's something I need to take into consideration, but that's something we need to be prepared for. And then the heat. The heat was a massive one in Chonburi, and also the fact that there was no drinking water en route because everything was Thai tap water, so I couldn't drink around the whole marathon. So for me, there's a lot of variables that I can't control. All I can control is the effort and intention I put into every training session moving forward over the next weeks. Making sure I'm recovered, and I'm looking after my body outside of the runs and outside of my training. And then just ensuring that when I turn up, I give the best effort I can give. Now, I did the first half of the marathon, a 1:49.35. My projection, or my goal for this, is a PB, which will be a sub 1:45. Okay, so not a million miles off what I ran that first half in. So I think it's well achievable. I just need to get used to those paces. I want to get comfortable running quicker, because I do believe that, again, I've said it in previous videos, that everything we do is a skill. There's a skill to running 6-minute kilometers. There's a rhythm and a tempo. There's also a skill to running quicker. When you exceed your current level of comfort, your heart rate elevates, your breathing gets erratic, your foot striking and your technique is different. So a lot of this is about settling in and relaxing into the pace and relaxing into the rhythm. That's something I kind of learned over the marathon prep is, you know, it's learning how to breathe at running at 4:45s or 4:15s or whatever that pace is for you. It's just learning to get comfortable, or make that comfortable, by just relaxing into it and not getting tensed up and not allowing your breathing to become restricted. It's learning to be relaxed while you're moving at this pace and this tempo, and allowing your heart rate to kind of settle down to that rhythm. And again, I spoke about that at the beginning of this video in terms of how to calm everything down and just get things used to moving. And controlling that with heart rate and stuff like that. So that's kind of my thought process moving forward. I think taking the pressure off yourself, and I'm just saying to myself that I'm going to go through the training that has been laid out, and I'm going to turn up on the day and just give nothing but my best. And if I do that, the time is irrelevant. Yes, it'd be lovely to run a PB and to exceed my expectations, but the reality is, if I don't, then I don't. You know, I move forward to the next one. Okay, because what I like about the idea of doing these events in relatively quick succession, this will be somewhat 10 weeks after the marathon, I'll be doing a half marathon, is it's another opportunity to put yourself into an uncomfortable situation, a stressful situation, and to see where you stack up. Can I remain a bit calmer? Can I go into it feeling a bit better? Can I go into it feeling a bit more prepared? And that is ultimately what it's all about. And it's not really, like I've sort of said in a previous video, the goal of this now next 7 weeks isn't the half marathon at the end of it. That's the cherry on the cake. The goal of this is to engross yourself and to put yourself into the training preparation. It's this next 7 weeks of 6 days a week training, sticking to everything, making sure my nutrition's on point, making sure I'm fueling my workouts, making sure I'm recovering well. And when you've finished that, you're in better shape. And that means I should be able to run a PB. I should be in PB shape. Whether or not that happens on the day is outside of my control to a certain degree. And then once I've finished, I dust myself off, I reset, and I go again and I rebuild. Because it's a constant evolution of building, testing, building, testing, building, testing. And I honestly believe that if you undertake that strategy and you go through these phases of building and then phases of testing, that you cannot help but get better. It's a byproduct of the environment that you set up. for me now, over the next 6-7 weeks, dialing in a little bit more, narrowing my focus, making sure my nutrition, my sleep and everything supports the running, so that on the 24th of March, which is actually my 40th birthday, I can run this half marathon to the best of my ability and hopefully get a PB. That's the plan. So hopefully over the next 6-7 weeks, again, the daily videos will still be there, but every Sunday will be a bit of a recap, what I learned from the week, what went well, what didn't go well, and just enjoy the process, enjoy the sort of focus and the discipline, and enjoy taking you guys along with me. So yeah, so I'll wrap Sunday's video up there, and yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow, where it will be upper body, mobility, and I'll see you tomorrow.